I will kneel in the dust at the foot.
How did you meet your wife? Because
Oh.
you said she's from Germany, right?
Yeah.
So she's German?
Yeah, she's a German citizen, but she's a Korean German. She, 1993, at the time that I was getting that, seeing Africa, she had a similar experience in her church in Germany. So she actually went to East Africa, and she was challenged by one of the native. The native of Kenyan, one of the seminary students said to her, how come you missionaries don't go to the villages and live there? You know, you're a missionary, you should come and live in the village and make disciples there, like Jesus style, right? And she kind of didn't know. She was first time in the mission field. She said, well, I'm sure there is. But over the period that she stayed in East Africa, she didn't see many missionaries, or none actually. They were in the cities, and they go out to evangelism and come back, that kind of ministry, which is not bad. I'm not saying that everybody should go to a village, right? You know, I learned that Acts 1:8 talks about, you know, missions in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth, right? M1 mission, Jerusalem. For you, it will be this area. It's very important, you know? And then to the ends of the earth, it needs to be balanced to finish the task that God has given 2,000 years ago. But for my wife, when the challenge came from this native, and she thought to herself, okay, I want to be a missionary to the ends of the earth, to the villages where there's no missionaries. And so when she finished the first term and then came back, and she heard a testimony from a missionary who was from West Africa, where I was, doing a tribal missions. So she made a commitment and she came, and that's where we met.
Okay, and you just met, and he, like, was your response the same as John's when he said, she's the one?
So actually the missionary that I knew told me about her, and we met actually at the same center, but I was coming back to US to start a seminary, and she was staying. So after I finished 1 year seminary, came back summertime, she was there for 1 year. In the mission field in West Africa especially, people come but they don't stay for long. Even though some of them come for full-time ministry and missions, they cannot, you know, handle the struggles and hardships, so they usually return. But she was there for 1 year. And a missionary friend of mine asked me, I think Sarah likes you. What do you think? So I said to him, I made a commitment when I was in college, reading the book called The Shadow of the Almighty by Jim Elliot story. And I made a commitment that I want to become a woman hater. Dating is not an option for me. I want to serve the Lord. If God brings me a wife, I will get married. If not, fine, I will serve the Lord single. So I told that story to the missionary and said I would pray for the 3 months that I'm in the village. Going back and forth from the center, you know, I see her time to time in the center, but I never talk to her because that's the commitment that I made. I would not sit with a woman alone. I still do. I'm not going to sit with any other woman in this room, right? So that's the commitment that I made, and I was praying for 3 months and no answer came. So I thought to myself, on the last day, I was praying for 2 hours earnestly, right? Because I liked her. So, Lord, give me answer now, right? And nothing came. So what do? Nothing came. So I said, Lord, I'm just going to leave without saying anything to her. And when I opened my eyes, to my shock, there was a rainbow. 180 degree, covered the building right in front of me. That's only about like 50 yards away. So I was so shocked. Lord, I'm going to take that as a sign. I have 5 hours to propose to my wife. So
you're not even gone on a date with her?
No, dating is not an option for me. You know. So like a coffee machine was down at the center, so I needed to go to the city to make some documents copied. So I asked her, would you like to go with me to the city? And she said yes, and then we got in. I thought, oh, this is great, right? As we are about to leave, all the natives that in the center, can we get a ride? So this pickup truck was packed with about 20 people, squeezed in, right? I said, oh, I'm ruined. There's no way I can propose in this setting. And on the way back, we were alone. And I know, guys, you guys don't do what I just about to tell you, right? I didn't know what to say. So I said, Sarah, I heard that you like me. I knew I didn't made a mistake, right? Definitely, it's not the way to do this, right? And I kind of, how dumb, you know? And then I looked at her to see her response. She didn't say anything. She just nodded her head. And I got encouraged. And I said, would you work with me in a mud house for the rest of your life with me? And she didn't say anything. She nodded her head. That's how we met. And then we raised our children in the village like that.
Yeah, awesome. So she was probably